Hi everybody, I'm Michelle Rushing with Stampin' Butterfly. Thank you so much for joining me tonight for another Sale-a-bration Showcase. Tonight we will actually be looking at the Peaceful Prints Christmas paper that is free in our Sale-a-bration catalog. So Sale-a-bration only runs until September 30th, so there's a few weeks left to take advantage of it. So each week I have been showcasing a different product that is free with the Sale-a-bration order. And I think we've had maybe 3 or 4 weeks of projects. So if you enjoy this video, make sure you head back to my Facebook site to look for the additional posts from the different products that I've already covered, as well as the next 2 weeks I'll also be featuring some additional products, and I'll talk about that more soon. So right now I just wanted to give you a little bit of background. I'm a US demonstrator with Stampin' Up, and Sale-a-bration is an event that we are running twice this year. Normally it's once, but this year we have an extra celebration, which is super exciting because there's lots of different ways to celebrate, as they call it. The first thing you can do is order $50 worth of products, and then you can earn certain things in our Sale-a-bration catalog for free. Another way you can celebrate is to place a $300 order or have a party that's $300, and there's a free exclusive stamp set that you earn for that. And then the third way is to join Stampin' Up! And the starter kit, which is an amazing deal throughout the year. However, right now it's even better. So your kit is normally $99 and you select $125 of product, and then your shipping is free. But during celebration, so if you take advantage of it by the end of the month, you'll also get to pick a free Christmas bundle or holiday bundle from the holiday catalog. So if you need more information on that, please let me know. But right now I want to head on over to my desk and take a look at our projects. So like I said, we are featuring right now the Peaceful Prints paper. So all week I've been posting cards and projects with this paper. Now the colors in this paper are basic black, cherry cobbler, garden green, real red, and Sahara sand. I like doing this little sampler product as I get new product or new paper in, so I can see all the different colors and patterns that are in each pack. So for instance, this is the front and this is the back. Now it's kind of chopped up, but you actually get a whole deer, and then there's a coordinating stamp and bundle that goes with that. So you'll be able to punch out the full deer. That's just a little snippet. And then these are the front and back of each paper. So you can see there's lots of versatility in here and your traditional Christmas colors. So let's take a quick look at the Sale-a-bration catalog. So this gives you a little bit closer look of the paper, as well as the coordinating bundle. So there's a punch that will cut out the deer that's on your paper. And there's also a stamp set. However, I didn't happen to order this coordinating product. So my showcase this week, I used other products that Stampin' Up! Sells, just to give you some more ideas and other ways that you can use our products. So lots of different things coordinate with Stampin' Up!, even if it's not the pre-designed set. So let's take a quick look. We're going to be making 2 cards tonight, and I will show you both cards. And then, let's see, I'm going to pull this out over here. So we're going to make 2 cards, and then I'll give you some additional information. So here's card number 1 and card number 2. So in my post, I did give you a look at this one today. And this is actually a gift card holder. It's kind of fun. So you pull it out. You can put your message on here, and you slide it into this portion right here. And then I think I have a gift card somewhere. And then there's this front little pouch right here, and you can, let's flip it the right way. You can slide it in here, so you can slide in your gift card in the front. Or you can add a different message and things like that. So that's kind of fun. So we'll just stick that in there. So first we're going to start off with this card. Now this is one of my favorites because it's an elegant Christmas card. I know it's not traditional Christmas colors, but it just gives you an elegant flair with a little bit of bling going on. This is some of the bedazzling paper that's also free during celebration. And then what I used on these products instead of the normal coordinating products is the Whimsical Christmas. You'll see I used that quite a bit this week on my projects, and I'll share them at the end of the video as well. But I used those here. And then the Holly Jolly Wishes. I love all the fonts in there, so I did use that for my cards. So let's get our little pieces out and we'll make our card together. So I hope everybody's having a good night. I'm glad you're all here. Thought this one would be a fun card to share. So here's the Holly Jolly Wishes stamp set that I mentioned. And you can see it has a lot, and I love fonts. So there's lots of different fonts. There's some fancy, there's some fun, and some whimsical. So it's a great stamp set to add to your collection for your Christmas cards and your tags. So let's set that aside. And we will just be using Early Espresso ink. I've done a little die cutting in advance, so I've got a few pieces here. Let's see. We will do a little bit of the paper cutting. So let me move the pieces out. So our card base is a standard 4 1/4 by 11. So it's basically your card stock cut in half and then scored in the middle at 5 1/2. So normally what you would do is you'd fold your paper. You'd use your bone folder to crease it or burnish it. And then I went with the standard 1/4 inch sizes. So the espresso mat is 5 1/4 by 4. And then the paper, the designer paper, is 5 by 3 3/4. So it's just 1/4 of an inch smaller. And they kind of layer up like that. And this would be a pretty card as well. But I want to show you a fun trick that you can do because our paper is two-sided and it's just so pretty and coordinates. So let me get my paper trimmer out. I'll move these to the side. Let's see, I like to cut it this way. So the Stampin' Up! Paper trimmer has a cutting blade and a scoring blade. So you always want to make sure you're using the correct blade to get the effect that you want. So if you look here, the deer, I want to make sure the deer are upright. And then actually the bottom piece is just the back side of the cardstock. So this is a quick and easy way to get a fun card. So you can do this with a lot of our cardstock. So we're just going to cut off 2 inches from the bottom of the paper. And it's really any size you want. I just happen to like the look of the 2 inches. So we're just going to cut it, pull out our pieces, and move our paper cutter. We'll be using the scoreboard on the next card, or the scoring mechanism on there. So here's our card again. All right, if you're out there, let me know. Drop me a hello and where you're from. I don't always get to see the comments, so I don't know when you join me, but it'd be great to know you're there. Okay, so we're going to glue that there, and then we're just going to flip this piece over. A little fuzzy. Okay. And then that's all you're going to do. I mean, it's pretty easy. And then you can use anything to go over your seam. You could use ribbon, you can use embossed cardstock, but I just like the bling. So we're going to go with that. So let's do a little gluing. I'll bring in my liquid glue. And we're just going to put this card together. And you'll see how fast and simple this is. So this is just a great way. If you need to make a bunch of cards, that you can make them look fancy, but with not a lot of effort. And it doesn't even have that much stamping, really. We're just stamping 1 centimeter on our stuff. So you can do your die cutting, and then you can do a bunch of stamping. You can do it in bulk, and then you can cut your paper and glue them all together. All right. So now we're just going to put our bling on, and that's just going to go over the top. Put a little glue on there. I have sticky fingers. All right. So let's make sure it looks straight. Takes a little bit, it's a little shiny on the back of that paper, so you want to give it a little bit of time to dry. We didn't even do our stamping yet, so we're going to go ahead and assemble the front of the card, and then we'll stamp. So I was just so excited to show you how to cut the paper. And you can do this with any patterned paper. It doesn't have to be for Christmas. You can do it for birthday, thank you cards. You know, just pick your favorite paper and go to town. All right, so let's get our ink pad open. We're going to stamp the Merry Christmas. It just fits in there. Looks like we need to get a little more ink on there. It's always good when you're inking it up, depending on how juicy your ink pad is, to flip it over, and then you can kind of see in the light if you have good coverage, or if a spot looks a little bit light, you can add a little more ink. Just try not to add too much ink. All right, I think we are good to go. And then you just stamp straight down and up. And there you go. So now we have, this I think is one of my favorite stamps in the set. I just love this font. All right, so we'll close up our ink and finish assembling our card. So quick and easy. So I think we're gonna do, like I did earlier on that sample, we're just gonna use a little liquid glue. Since the stems are kind of skinny, I am going to use my silicone mat so I don't get my workplace too sticky. And then we're going to use some dimensionals to pop up the sentiment. I like a lot of dimensionals. All right, you want to make sure it's right side up. Peel off these little backs. And so I like to center things, so it's probably going to be pretty close to center. You just want to make sure you leave yourself enough room to get your trees on there. So let's see, hopefully it fits. And then that guy should fit there. And if it's a little bottom sticks out, you can just trim it with your scissors. All right, so we're going to use a little bit of glue. You could always run these through on your silicone, not your silicone, your sticky sheets, like your sticker sheets, adhesive sheets. Or you can use the sponge dauber. There's different ways you can get glue on this, but it doesn't need a whole lot. So I'm just using little dots on there. And then we're going to stick them on. Right there. And slide this one probably up here a little bit. And then just give that a second. And there you go. You could even add some rhinestones and bling. I just felt like it was pretty good with our shiny piece of paper on there. So we didn't need to do too much. All right, so there's card one. So again, that's just a quick method where you can cut your paper and cut like 1 inch, 2 inches, 1 1/4, however much you want, and just flip over your cardstock, and then get a fun look to that. All right, let's regroup for card number 2. So let's take a look at this one again. So this one is actually the Ombre Gift Bag. So if you look, there's the little bumps at the top, and that is the back of the gift bag. And then we used a strip of paper and one of the deers that we punched out of the cardstock. And it's an evening evergreen. So we're going to just set that here. I'm going to take out our paper cutter again. And we'll be working with that. Let me get some more supplies ready. All right. So this is what our gift bag looks like. And you can see it's the ombre effect. And there's, I forget how many, maybe 6 bags of each color, 4 to 6 maybe. And you'll see some of the other bags are a little more lighter and they almost look like the soft succulent. So it just depends on what color bag you grab. So we're going to be using that. We'll also be using the iridescent snowflakes and some other components from that whimsical tree. So this time we're going to do some scoring. So we want to use the light colored blade on our Stampin' Up! Trimmer. And we're going to score it 3 inches. So we're going to put the end right here. And we're just going to give it a quick score. Make sure you're using the right blade so you don't cut your bag in half. So that wouldn't be any fun either. That's all we really need this for. And then we're just going to fold it in half, crease it a little bit, and there you go. All right, so we're going to set that aside. We're going to come back to it. So one of the fun things, you'll see that this is a strip of the paper, and it's actually the paper we just used on the last card. Just cut in another direction. But you can see it looks a little different than what I actually used on mine here. And what I ended up doing is I actually used the catalog. So the catalog has lots of great ideas in it. So let's take a quick look. It gave us this little hint. And you can see here they have the paper with red stripes. And all they did was they used their blends marker to draw some lines. So that is what we are going to do. However, I forgot my ruler. So we're going to need the ruler because I don't draw a straight line. So we're going to need this guy. I had taken it out to work on another project. All right, let's see. We are going to put an extra piece of paper. The blends markers do bleed through when you use them. So you'll want to keep that in mind. And then all I'm going to do is just use the ruler to, and you can see it will write on your ruler. So my ruler has a nice green edge to it now. But I kind of go halfway-ish. It's not a perfect science. So we're going to go halfway. And we're going to use the light evening evergreen, which is the same color as our bag. We're going to use the fine tip. So there's a brush with the fat line and then there's a skinny line. So we're going to go ahead and use this one. And it takes a little bit of time. It's not too bad. So I like to kind of start off the paper a little bit because the ink does come out a little thicker right where you start. So you'll see there's a little bit of a blop. But it is up to you how you want to do it. And some of my lines are a little crooked, and that's okay. It's handmade. Nothing's perfect. So you want to try to do your ruler best you can. And you're just going to do this all the way down the paper. So it's going to take us a few minutes to get through this. But I think by the end, you'll have the gist of it. And I'm using a full 12-inch piece of paper, my strip. But you can cut it a smidge smaller if you want. And we're just going to wrap the whole piece around it. And keep drawing our lines. But it gives you a totally different look. This is kind of fun because it gives your paper a totally different look than what it originally looked like. And like the sample on the card, they used the red, but I wanted to tie in with the green envelope. So could have done this in advance, but now by the time you're done watching this, you'll know how to do it for sure. And then, okay, so that's one direction. Now the one I did it in both directions. So let me see which way I want to turn it. All right, so we are going this way on the cardstock this time. Takes a minute to think through. See, am I on the screen? Okay, good. You can still see what I'm doing. And you could just do the one direction. You don't have to do both. I kind of like the look of both of them though. So that's what we'll go with for this card. And I love giving gift cards. It's just a great way. If you've got teacher gifts or, you know, your hairdresser and you're giving a gift card, this is just such a nice way to dress it up rather than just the packaging that came from Starbucks or, you know, wherever you're grabbing your gift card from. Mine's from Old Time Pottery. Did a little shopping there. So lots of different ways you can make a card for gift cards, but I thought this was just a fun way to do it, that it's partially assembled for you already. All right, we're getting there. We're almost to the end. Then we'll do a little stamping and assembling, and then our card will be put together. I know my paper keeps sliding out. And then you just want to work the angle of your ruler. I think I moved further down, now more of my ruler. I think I did it earlier on the ruler last time. All right, one more. That one even might get covered up. All right, so now we have our extra striped paper. Move my poor ruler. And you can see it kind of goes through the paper a little bit, but that's okay. And it actually got on here too. All right, So let's do a little stamping, and then we'll assemble it all in one shot. So I have some pieces pre-cut and a couple of blends markers, and I did a little stamping and punching beforehand, so we do have a couple pieces in here already. All right, so let's pull this out so you can see it. So we're going to go ahead and do this little insert right now. And I just stamped the holly berry at the bottom, punched a hole, and then tied some cute ribbon so you can pull it out of the card. So that's what we'll be making first. So let's go ahead and grab our ink. Again, it's Evening Evergreen that we're using. And we're just going to stamp the bottom. Now, normally when you're coloring with your blend markers, you want to use your Memento ink because it doesn't bleed. So since we are using the actual ink pad, we just want to be careful to not touch the lines too much with our little markers. And then we'll just let it dry a little bit longer. So I'm going to do that. I've already stamped our sentiment, wishing you Christmas cheer and magical moments that last all year. And while we're letting that dry for a second, let me just show you. This is the stamp set I featured most of this week with this paper, even though this isn't the original stamp set that coordinates with it. So we have Whimsical Trees, and we've been using the die cuts from this. So you've probably seen lots of Christmas trees and those little ones we just did on the last card. Let me show what the dies look like. So these are the two that we just used on the last card. And then there's some tinsel or garland that'll run through your trees. So it's quite a few dies in this set. And then like the ornaments, you can cut them out with this die. There's little ornaments for your tree. And I've used this one quite a bit, I think, on the cards as well. So now when you look at this one in the catalog, it's actually very non-traditional colors in this stamp set. So some people may have looked past it and said, I don't want pink Christmas cards. Let me show you real quick. I know I digress from our stamping, but I'm letting it dry. Okay, so let's see. Here is the stamp set. So if you looked at it in the catalog, you might have said, whoa, too much strange colors. If you're a red and green traditional Christmas person. Personally, I love the colors, so I was super excited with all these unusual colors. But this is the stamps and dies that I'm actually using today and that I used a lot this week. And then you can see, so you can trade out the colors. There's lots of fun ideas in here, and you can still do them in your red and green. All right, so now you've seen that guy. Let's go ahead and do a little coloring. So we're just going to color the berries, and this one is the Real Red Dark for the berries. So we're just going to give it a quick coloring in. All right. And then for the leaves, I didn't want them to be too dark, so I went ahead and I picked Soft Succulent Light. And we're just going to go ahead and color them in lightly. Try not to touch the edges too much. Might get a little bit on your marker tip, but not too bad. And that just gives it a little, putting this little image at the corner is fun. And you could do it on your envelope as well. You could always decorate your envelope. All right, so that's put together. Give it, glue it together real quick. And you can see it does bleed through your paper a little bit, so you'd want to make sure that when you are coloring a piece of paper, it's not sticking straight out on your card, that it's backed on something. Otherwise people would see the ink bleeding through. All right, I think that looks pretty straight. And what do we need? Okay, so fancy hole punch for my desk. So this is my office. Let's see if I can estimate halfway. So you're just going to go ahead and punch a hole partway through. Not even sure where that went. It's around somewhere. So your handy dandy hole punch from your desk. Then we're going to loop some evergreen ribbon through there. And we're just going to tie a little bow around it. Let's see how much string I need. That should be enough. All right, so we have our white twine, and we're just going to pull it, tie it in a bow. Tying bows on camera is always fun. Let's see how it comes out. All right. Concentrating. It's actually pretty good. It's not too bad. Depends on how long you want your tails. So my tails are short on this one, and I'm okay with that. Let's shorten up the bow too. I think last time I just had a lot of twine on there. All right, perfect. So we're just going to trim off the other side of that. And these are my paper scissors, not my ribbon scissors. Okay, so now we have our little insert ready to go. We're going to set that aside. And we're going to assemble our card. So we need our snowflake. They're metallic on one side and then they're white on the other. So if you wanted to color them, you could use your blending brush or sponge daubers. And you could actually color the back of your snowflake. So you could flip it over and color it. And then save these pieces because you can die cut other things out of there and use the extras. You could also use this as a stencil. So if you wanted to flip this over and tack it down, you can use your blending brush. Not that you could see it on there. Here, wait, let's do it on here. You can put it on a piece of paper and go around it, and then you could treat it like a stencil. So that's kind of fun too. All right, so the opening you want to be in the front of your card. So we're just going to take our card stock here, and we're just going to kind of give it a little crease, hopefully straight-ish, and then you can tweak it from there. So you're going to fold it over, and then you're going to fold this side over as well to kind of meet, and then you'll flip it back. And when you're lining it up, you want it to kind of cover there. I don't know if you can see it, it's kind of dark in the camera, but there's a seam on the bottom of your envelope, so you're going to want it to cover that. This seam sticks out, and that's okay, you don't see it that much, but we're going to cover up this one seam at the top, and then we're going to glue it. So let's put a little glue on here, and then we're going to attach it. Try to line it up so there's not too much sticking out. All right, and if it slides around too much, if you've made your belly band too loose, you could always stick a little glue dot under here. That works well. And then we're going to use some dimensionals. So the dimensionals are pretty awesome. They fit exactly perfect on the back of these snowflakes. So if you look here, right there, you can put your dimensional in. It's the same shape. So we're going to go ahead and line that up. And since it's not really like a card that you're putting in an envelope, you can have a little height to it. So I'm going to put that there and then do more dimensionals on the deer. And I'll just line it up. I'm going to put it in the center again of the snowflake. And then you can angle them whichever direction you like. I already stamped our sentiment, so that one's a little hard to line up. So I kept stamping it crooked on because I die cut the paper first and then I stamp second. So when you have trouble lining it up, sometimes you can do like this fancy little thing on the paper, or you can just take a white piece of cardstock, stamp your sentiment, and line your die up exactly how you want it. So if you stamped it crooked, you can die cut crooked to match, and then it'll be straight. Hope that makes sense. So that, and then we'll use the mini dimensionals, I think, on our snowflake. Do we have any big ones? Do we want to do one or two? Let's see. The ones I pulled out are small. I think we're going to go with these bigger one. And you can also add some gems and rhinestones. I don't think I did that on this one, but the wonderful gems have the red and the gold, and they match so pretty. You could definitely do that. I think I'm going to add this one right here. And sometimes if you're trying to decide where on the back of your little tiny piece to put it, it's easier to put it where you want it to go on the bottom onto the paper. And then that way you can just line up the snowflake and you don't have to guess which part, you know, the top or the bottom of your snowflake. I think that looks great. Let's move some of these guys out of the way. And we'll take our little insert. So this goes in the back, just slides in. You can write your nice little message on there. And then you have your gift card and you can slide it in. And it's a pretty big hole, so you could slide it this way. Or if it has its own packaging, what's nice is if you wanted to keep it on the Starbucks packaging, it would probably fit in here because it's a pretty good opening. So we're just going to stick it that way so you can see it. And that gives us our Christmas gift card. Now I did make some additional, well, I made another one, and I did this one more for like a birthday or a thank you. So let's move these out of the way so you can kind of see. Actually, we'll keep them to compare. So it's the same exact format, same size belly band. And all I did was change out the color. So this is one of the other envelopes that are in your Ombre gift pack. And then I just stamped it with our contour. I think it's like the color and contour dies, and I think this is the coordinating stamp set for it. I forget the name of the stamps. But anyway, so you can use it for lots of different holidays or occasions. It doesn't have to just be Christmas. So let's take a quick look in the catalog in case you're wondering where I found those products, because they are on a page where you may have just looked right past them. They're not super exciting looking in the catalog. So sometimes it's easier to see the products in use. So if you're on page 137, I know it's tiny on the screen, but it's page 137 of your catalog. And number 2 right here are the Ombre gift bags. So they put tissue paper, you can put cards in them, you can stamp on them. So lots of versatility in those. So that's what we're using here. And let's see, what else did I tag? Just in case you needed to know, here are the hippo dies that we used. So that's kind of a fun, if you're looking for some new layering. I know we got rid of the stitched circles and die, like we had a die set that was like stitched, circle, oval, and square. And I sorely missed them because I use them all the time for my sentiments. This is my new favorite replacement. It's called Hippo and Friends. And it has a coordinating stamp set, which I don't use as often because I don't have little kids and I don't use the unicorns, but I do love these dies. So they are extremely versatile. So we use this middle size one on the card, the first card we made. So in case you're wondering where that came from. All right, so let's take a look at our projects again. We have our designer paper cards, and then we made our gift card holders. Now all week I've been doing my Sale-a-bration Showcase each week, like I talked about, where I show different projects for each free Sale-a-bration item. I don't have all the items, so we won't, and Sale-a-bration is ending soon, so I won't get through all of them. This past week we did the Peaceful Prints Designer Series paper, and I will show you my samples from this week. And then the previous weeks we've already looked at Delicate Dahlias, Penguin Playmates, and Feels Like Home. So if you have any of those products or you're interested in them, please make sure you check my YouTube channel for the videos, and then you can also look at the card posts on my Facebook page, and I try to list out the products. So if you are curious what some of the products are, if you look at the individual Facebook posts, you should see the different products listed on there. All right, so let's take a look at the earlier projects. Move this out of the way since it keeps sliding around. All right, so we did showcase some tags. Everybody needs Christmas tags, and this time I remembered to stamp the back, so the to and from is always helpful. I think the penguin ones I need to go back. And it's hard to stamp once you've already put dimensionals on there, so I may have to do it on a tag and mount it. So both of these tags, again, here's that Christmas tree from the Whimsical Christmas. But these tags are from the TaylorMade tag die sets. And then this one I used the tag topper. So you just cut a 2-inch strip and then you punch the top off of that and use some of that blingy paper again. And you can make them as long as you want on this one. So those are some tags we made. Then we have some traditional Christmas. Again, here's that Christmas tree. This time I did it in evening evergreen to kind of tie in with the plaid. And that's ribbon we just used today. I'm not a great bow tire, so I do like to make little knots. Those are quick and easy, and you don't have to fuss so much with it. And then those wonderful gems I was talking about, you'll see them show up on a lot of the projects. These are actually the holiday rhinestones, but then most of the other ones are using the wonderful gems. Now this one is kind of fun. I hadn't used Poor Snowman Punch all year. I bought them last year, super excited, and then all my new stuff came. So I gave them a little love and designed this card with the Snowman Punch. And then the hat and the arms are from the punch. But I found out that the little berries and the leaves actually are in the sweet little stockings. I think it's called dies. And then the same thing with this background with the little dogs peeking out of the stockings. So that is the stamp set I used, or the dies that I used. And then you can use the snowflake dies to cut out some of these small ones as well. And then the sentiment is from the stamp set that goes with the snowman. So black is a little bit, I wasn't sure about black for the ribbon, but I think it kind of pulled in some of the elements, kind of cool. I debated on a red ribbon, but I didn't have any current red, so we went with the black. I'm glad you like the gift card holder, Hannah. They're a lot of fun. Now this is kind of fun. So if you're a Memories and More fan, we have these card packs that make quick and easy cards, or you can use them for scrapbooking. And then they have coordinating envelopes and card bases. So all I did here was I die cut some more of those little trees and assembled it here. Now they use this actually maybe even as a cookie sheet on some of the ones. But I just went ahead and used it as like a template to put my little pieces on. So once you punch out all those different deer, that's kind of a nice way to make quick cards. And let's see, oh, this one I did the inside too. So this one, again, here's our deer. He goes two different directions. The punch only goes one way. And then I have a brother scan. I cut the other ones out for me. But this one I used the snowman. Or no, this is actually from the snowflake stamp set. So that's a fun card as well. Had a little extra DSP, so I kind of draped that down the side to tie it in. And then showcase some more of those wonderful gems. Now this next sample I actually showed earlier. I think it was last week or the week before. So this is a card where I did the Feels Like Home stamp set and I watercolored it. But the actual paper, this is the paper from this suite. So it doesn't have to be Christmas. You know, you can use the paper for anything. So if you look back to the pieces we just used today, I mean, it's the same designer paper that I used here. Here I put the stripes on it. And then here I just used it as a base. So lots of different ways you can use your products. I hope you enjoyed all these samples this week. Looking ahead to next week, we will be showcasing, let's open the catalog real quick, the sheep, make sure I say that slowly, stamps and dies. So my projects for this upcoming week will be using these two products, and then my video at the end of the week on Sunday, again at 5 p.m. Central. I'm going to go ahead and make a couple projects and then share the cards with you. Now if you're a Paper Pumpkin subscriber, just wanted to share some information we just received. So the subscription period just ended for the fall card kit on September 10th. So now the subscriptions are open for the October, I have to think about it. So the October 10th subscription period is when you have to subscribe by, and I have a feeling these may sell out again because they tend to sell out at Christmas time. So make sure you subscribe early. If you're already a current subscriber, you're good. You don't have to do anything. But there's a sneak peek of the box here, and then I'm thinking this is December. They haven't told us anything about that one yet. But this one is going to coordinate with the Peaceful Prints paper and punch and stamp set, I believe. So more to come on that. They said it's 10 cards, I think, and it's got some foil and tinsel-y shininess, so I'm excited. I'm hoping they give us a few more sneak peeks. So I will share that on my Facebook page as I get more information. Couple other things coming up. So today is the last day to RSVP for my Pretty Pumpkins card class to go. I will put the registration in the comments below. So if you're catching the video today, you still have time to RSVP. This is a sneak peek of one of our cards we'll be making. And I've shared, I think, another card earlier, either last week or the week before. But you'll be making 4 cards, 2 of each. And then your kit includes products. So you'll have like a pack of the paper or a half pack of the paper. You'll have some foil. If you get the option 1, you'll have some of the cork as well. So lots of great cards in that kit. And they don't have to be for fall. You don't have to send Halloween or Thanksgiving. You can, like this one, if friends were pumpkins, I'd pick you. And then it could be for a fall birthday. So I hope you'll be able to join me for that card class. I'm super excited. I love the way the cards came out. There's even a couple of fun folds in there. So I'll put that in the comments as well. Not in the comments, but I guess in the description, or if you're watching it on YouTube, I'll put it down in the description as well. If you need any supplies, I'd be happy to help you. Feel free to reach out. I also have my website and host code at the top. So if you need anything, feel free. I'd love to have you as a customer, so feel free to order. And if you have any other questions, feel free to post them. I'll check back on the video. And then I hope you guys have a great night. I appreciate your time, and I hope you enjoyed the cards. Thanks for joining me.